Hello, everyone. So we are live. So I know, like, right now the market is correcting, just like it does every end of the month. So I want to take this opportunity to, let everyone know, right, that it happens actually every single month. But I know what you're thinking, Ryan. I bought my bitcoins not too long ago. When is it gonna help me to double up? My funds. Ryan, I bought into this particular, cryptocurrency, quite a while back. But the returns aren't as great compared to, in 2017, and 2018 has already, come and gone. It's been really, really, it just hasn't been good. So let me just share a little bit about like how I look at things, and maybe let's pull away from crypto just for a little bit and take you back to the time when I was really struggling in my finances, just wondering how I was able to make it to the position that I have today. So that was perhaps maybe 10 over years, right? More than 10 years. And I was always someone who was hungry, ambitious, and I always thought to myself, when was it gonna be my time to be successful? When was I gonna be rich? That I could afford anything I wanted. Give my then, girlfriend, now wife, anything that she wanted. I would be able to take her to places where, I had never gone before. And I asked myself, would I ever be that capable to achieve all these things? And obviously, being the ambitious, young, aggressive individual that I am, I was always after the fastest opportunities that, or at least I thought would be the fastest opportunities to make me money. And unfortunately, some were decently, some were actually helping me to make money, but most of the time, every time it was a process. It was a process of helping me nurture myself, because when you have too much money too quickly, you tend to spend it too quickly as well. But why is that so? Let's just give you an example. If I had $10,000 as a young individual back then, without the knowledge that I have today, I wouldn't know what to do. I really wouldn't know what to do, because $10,000, as in if I was 10 years younger, it would be a big deal, I would be 27 at the time, and having a paycheck of $10,000, which was something that I did get, right? Because that was the time when I was already in banking. This was a top of my salary, right? Did well in sales, and I got my monthly salary, but because the commissions were pretty good at the time, I had my first paycheck on top of my salary, of course, $10,000. And you know what? I spent practically every single cent on eating great, luxury items, basically a lot of things that I didn't need. Okay? So I was like, you know what? It felt good. I cannot lie. It felt good. To be able to have that, for once, having that kind of spending power, you felt like a king, man. And I did it quite a number of times, because I was able to generate these kinds of paychecks, sometimes a little bit larger, sometimes a little bit lesser, but more or less it would be very repetitive. And after 2 to 3 years, I still didn't have enough money. I was still broke, of course, right? Because each time the paycheck came in, I would always assume that I would make it back and I could continue my spending pattern. All right? So after a while, I realized that, hey, I'm not entirely happy with what I'm doing. Am I just kind of keeping up with the Joneses? And to a certain extent, yes, I would say so, because a lot of a large part of the environment kind of plays into that subconscious mind. My friend, he's wearing this really awesome suit. $3,000 to $4,000 Xenia suit, right? He's wearing, Laura Piana, 6 to 7K, So back then, when you dress up, you feel powerful, you feel strong, and obviously we want to look the part, especially when we're meeting our clients. You don't want to look like a chump. You're asking people to invest 6-7 figures with you. You can't be dressing like shit, can you? You do the same. You make sure that you have top of the line quality stuff. So okay. And so the cycle continues. You have the nice watches, you have the nice shoes, the leather belt to go. Everything just had to match. Ship shape, you just took care of yourself, making sure top to toe you look great. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. You just have to look professional. But I realized at that point, was I making my client happy? Or was I happy? And it really played in my mind. What did I really want? And it dawned on me that actually I don't need all these things. I just needed to have a great attitude and just dress decently, right? And you can get really affordable professional menswear at quite a lot of shops. But because my mindset was always in the top quality stuff, right? And obviously having friends who were also in that region, I would do the same. But end of the month, right, when I looked at my bank account, I said, hey, this is not right. And so it goes to show that I wasn't ready to handle this money. So back to the story right now. A lot of folks right now would want their portfolios to suddenly just from 3 figures become six figures, or 4 figures becoming 7 figures. And it's just not happening, right? Did I get duped? Is this space real? Are these companies even going to make these tokens, become valuable? That's a question that we all ask ourselves. And I asked myself this quite a few times as well. Being in the space for 3 years, I'm always asked this question. Do you really think this company is really going to be doing well? Do you think that they are really creating what they say that they're creating? Are they really that capable? Are they even going to honor the token holders? What are they doing with the money anyway that they raised? I don't see anything. And so we're kind of like in this wait room, And I asked myself, okay, and I put myself to a certain extent, right? Even though this is non-financial advice, but I do talk about certain things that I'm investing in. And I'm always concerned about folks who don't realize the time horizon required to be in this space. Now, the 2017 occurrence, right, may or may not happen again. Or it may happen very much later down the line, right? Nobody knows. If every human being could tell the future, we wouldn't want to work, guys. We wouldn't want to go and do our job because we clearly knew exactly when we were gonna make money. So my thoughts are just this. Why not just look at the space in its entirety? Before you even put any money into it, always look at the space in its entirety. Why does it even appeal to you? Now, of course, Ryan be like, to make money, of course. Okay, but if you want to be able to participate in its future growth, don't you at least want to have a certain connection or understanding about it? And every good investor knows that they need to understand what they're investing in. Or at least, even before they dip their toes into the water, they kind of need to get a feel of what it's all about, right? So if you haven't done at least the basic stuff, you shouldn't be touching this space, right? Then the next thing, you want to ask yourself, why am I putting, money into these tokens, right? Do I believe that these tokens actually serve some form of, does it serve a purpose in its ecosystem, right? And the reason why, for example, I don't want to name any tokens, but the reason why I put money into certain tokens because, hey, they genuinely serve a purpose. They're benefiting the people who hold the tokens, and they actually have the revenue to back it up. So everything starts to add up. And when you think about it, if you want to believe in something, you need to also have, some assets or things that you can see, things that you can at least measure. But what about there are those times when you're putting money in and it's not as straightforward. There's no real straightforward statistical way to validate. Why are you even investing in smart contract protocols? Do you really know what a smart contract protocol does? Or do you even know what is being built on these smart contract protocols? Are they actually helping people, or they're just basically cash grabs? You see, all these questions are stuff that is a bit scary to ask, and sometimes you may not even know what to ask. Like, folks don't know what to ask sometimes. They don't have they don't really have an idea because they haven't been in the space long enough. They haven't consumed enough content or read enough about what the Bitcoin blockchain does, or why does Bitcoin even exist till to this day. So all these questions, right, will always arise. And I think the very good way to really appreciate this space is just to start why Bitcoin came about. And a very simplistic ideology and perspective that I can give everyone. And I was having this conversation with a friend. Like, why should people even use Bitcoin? And to me, why people should use Bitcoin is because it's just the freedom to choose between the existing banking system and a system that is decentralized, that allows, the blockchain to do its validation. And, you could never fake a Bitcoin. If you give someone your Bitcoin address, and if he's trying to fake a token or something like you can have counterfeit currency, right? So why do I say this? If you are receiving, a good amount of money, right, and the first few notes are fake, but you don't know how to validate whether the rest of the notes are real, right? Perhaps maybe the first 2 or first 5 or first 10, $100 are real, but the rest is all fake. You won't really know unless you've dealt with a lot of cash before. But if someone were to send you Bitcoins and you gave him your Bitcoin address, it's very straightforward. The reason why you even received Bitcoins is because, they have it. See, isn't it very straightforward? You don't have to worry, you don't have to think. Not only that, it's the privacy. Because right now, there's no counterparty, there's no intermediary, there's no middleman saying you are transacting with him. Why? It's your choice. I want to transact with him because I trust him. I need to buy something from him. He's engaging me for my services. All these things are your rights as a human being, as a person, right? So just that alone is already powerful. And of course, naturally, a lot of people will say all the other stuff, right? Why Bitcoin has been used for money laundering. When it first started, it was heavily used in the Silk Road. Sure. Money does tend, or at least digital forms of money, especially that is, that definitely can go under the radar and outside of a financial system, is and can be very scary, and also can be used for multiple things. So right now, it may seem like, wow, it doesn't seem as clean and, as well accepted, because there are versions of digital currencies that will be coming out in the future that are more compliant and more accepted and regulated and licensed by the same entities that we know today. Now the question is, do you want to use these same systems? So same thing, having this discussion with a very good friend. If we are in a first world country and everything works fine, like, hey, recently I kind of got back into playing Magic the Gathering, and for every transaction that I did, because I'm purchasing all the cards that and by the way, I'm playing the game because I really miss playing the game. It was something that's still around for 20 over years, and the folks that I've been meeting are a great bunch of people. And when I wanted to do transactions, so I asked anywhere from either cash, internet banking, right, or crypto. Out of the 20 over transactions, we're talking about peer-to-peer here, okay? 20 over transactions. only one was open to accepting Bitcoin or open to using Ethereum, because he was one of the early pioneers that was accepting Bitcoin. Because I think he did some transactions because he was playing WoW, and there was some transactions in Bitcoin that he didn't mind accepting. This was when Bitcoin was 50 cents. And we had a very good conversation. I had a very, very long conversation with this individual, even though I was buying not many cards, right? But we had a very good conversation, and this is someone that I met for the very first time. While the others were having reactions like, no, I don't want to use crypto. I don't really know what that is, and I've heard that it's really volatile. Okay, fair enough. We transact via, cash. And when I wanted to transact via cash, the fella didn't have change. So I had to use my, internet banking and transferred him digitally, which is fine. It's fine. You see, everything works fine. When everything works fine and there's no discomfort, people will continue to use it. And that's fine as well. But in other countries where the financial system isn't as trustworthy, isn't as efficient, that's when crypto is the most prevalent. And when I mean crypto, it is Bitcoin specifically. These are the things, right, that will take time. It may not be 3 years. It may not be 3 months, 3 years. It may not happen anytime soon. But when it does happen, and when you are ready, and when you have built up a very strong portfolio of, Bitcoins. Bitcoin is going to be here, guys. I know I'm not the best example where I have a lot of Bitcoins. I'm here to make money in the market. But I'm here also to let you know how I view the market as well. I do what I need eventually to also get more Bitcoins. And right now, I see that the intrinsic value of where we can make that money is through the altcoin market. But a lot of people don't feel that the altcoin market is going to reward them. And that is not true. It's really not true. It's just that the companies are more mature right now. And when companies are more mature, they don't need to create unrealistic pumps that don't last. They are here to have slow, steady growth. And when I mean slow, steady growth, right, you guys can be true, you guys can really see that, because your portfolio is clearly not moving as quickly as it used to, isn't it? If you had just invested, say, anywhere from, just the beginning of 2018, or at least the end of 2018, your portfolio would be a little bit down, but it's definitely a little bit up right now, because if you had just, invested. And of course, if you were lucky, you were able to kind of move into the market early of 2019, you would be doing pretty well. You'd be pretty happy. But for the folks that were with me ever since 2017 until now, you've seen the extreme highs, you've seen the extreme lows, you've seen the sideways movement, and it can be mentally draining because you see your portfolio not moving. And that is why, like I said, you go back to looking at this space. Why am I even here? And of course there are folks who understand risk management. They'll be like, Ryan, I believe in this space. You clearly know what you're talking about, and I believe what you're saying as well. I'm gonna put some money into this market, but I'm not gonna worry too much about it. And that's the way you kind of approach it. You don't have to look at your portfolio day to day. Back in the day, I think everybody used to refresh their blockfolio or refresh their wallet. And you don't have to do that now. You can really not have to do that now. You can just, take your time. And yes, you may have sudden shifts of 10-15% still, but you're not going to get a huge scare. You're really not going to have a huge scare, unless, of course, you're doing some weirdo tokens or whatever, but more or less, you'll be fine, And that's the whole idea, isn't it? Where the space matures to the point, or at least the crypto space matures to a point where you actually see this, real organic growth. And that's when you know that the market is headed for higher highs, because you have real investors in this space, or at least you have real investors holding the tokens. And companies have created systems, right, that allow, investors or token holders, right, to be incentivized. And you're not going to get crazy returns like 20% per annum or whatever. You're looking anywhere from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe even 10% per annum. Very realistic. So, with that being said, right, guys, I think it's more about your patience. And do you really believe in this space? Because anyway, the people who don't believe in this space have already left. So when you think about it, you're still here. You're still watching this content. That means you're either really new, or you're someone who has just been in the space as long as I have, and you just know something good is going to come out. It's just that you're in the waiting room. You're in the waiting room, guys. The only question is, are you going to stay the course, right? And make sure that when that time comes, you have enough vested that you can really benefit to have that life-changing income. That's all I have to say, guys. Have a great weekend and see you in the next live stream.